The church was shaking. 3,000 people screamed, stampeding toward exits as light bulbs exploded overhead. At the altar stood Mama Fire Eyes, eyes glowing white, voice breaking into an inhuman hiss. Her arm rippled, scales pushed through skin like dark rainbows. Amaka raised her phone with trembling hands. "This is the evidence." Mama turned slowly, smiling a smile that belonged to no human being. "You think you can expose me?" the creature whispered. "Even your God cannot save you now." 3 months earlier, the sky wept that Sunday morning in Ibadan. Inside Mount of Everlasting Grace International, 3,000 souls pressed together, desperate for miracles. Prophetess Rebecca Alaid emerged from behind purple curtains. Nearly 6 feet tall, skin-absorbing light, eyes impossibly large. The congregation erupted, screaming, weeping, rushing forward to touch her robes. "Children of the Most High," her voice boomed, "today is your day of deliverance." Then came the miracle. A man rose from his wheelchair. "I can walk," he shouted. 5 years in this chair, and now, oh God, I can walk." The hall exploded in worship, but at the back, Amaka Cole wasn't celebrating. She'd seen that man last Thursday at Oja Oba Market, walking, carrying heavy bags through the crowd. Amaka had come here 7 months ago after her brother fell mysteriously ill. Someone told her about Mama Fire Eyes, the prophetess who could see into souls. But what Amaka had seen here changed her, just not the way anyone intended. As offering baskets circulated 3 times, Rebecca Alaid prophesied over people with impossible accuracy. Amaka pulled out her phone and began taking notes. The investigation had begun. Before she was Mama Fire Eyes, she was Rebecca Alaid, a girl who'd failed at ministry for 3 years, empty pews, mounting debt, eviction notices, until desperation led her to a minister's summit at a 5-star hotel. Late on the second night, she followed successful pastors to conference room 13B. Inside, candles, blood, symbols. Prophet Jeremiah Ogunle stood at a black altar. "Real power requires sacrifice," he said. "What will you give?" "My womb," Rebecca whispered. The ritual was horrifying. Something entered her, cold, old, hungry. When it was over, she was no longer just Rebecca. She was Mama Fire Eyes. And within 3 years, she would build an empire. Present day. Rebecca Alaid's inner circle met in a windowless office. Attendance, 5,200, Bose reported. Offerings, 12 million naira. Remy, the miracle coordinator, grinned. 3 actors lined up for Sunday. Tumor prosthetic, demon possession, mute girl. Shalewa managed the prophecy database. 843 member profiles, every secret, every weakness. "The Seeing Stone program?" Rebecca Alaid asked. "Selling well. Members speak their secrets to the Seeing Stones each morning, thinking they're praying. But the Seeing Stones are bound to you spiritually. You hear everything." Rebecca Alaid smiled. 11.5 million naira per month from bottles of tap water and vegetable oil sold as holy water and miracle oil. Plus the Seeing Stones, plus the prophecies based on stolen information. "That woman Amaka is investigating," Bose warned, "asking questions about finances, miracles." "Let her investigate," Rebecca Alaid said coldly. "When the time comes, we'll destroy her." That Sunday, Rebecca Alaid called a young man forward. Segan Martins, just back from London with an engineering degree. Rebecca Alaid placed a cold hand on his forehead. "Your life battery is running dangerously low. You won't live to see 30. Unless you sacrifice a cow. 500,000 naira. "This is ridiculous," Segan Martins protested. "Jesus was the final sacrifice. Are you questioning God's prophet?" Segun Martin's mother collapsed, weeping. "Mama, please, we'll pay." Within minutes, 500,000 naira transferred. A nurse's life savings gone. In the back row, Amaka added another note to her evidence file. But that week, strange things started happening. Her bedroom door opening at 3 a.m., browser tabs mysteriously closing, pages torn from her notebook, papers scattered across her locked apartment by invisible wind. "Someone's trying to scare you," her cousin Kioma said. "You need to stop." But Amaka couldn't stop. She needed something undeniable. Amaka met Tosin, an ex-usher, at a quiet cafe. "I need information," she said, "about Rebecca Alaid's habits." Tosin looked uncomfortable. "There was one thing. Late nights, I'd see her car leaving. Always Wednesdays, around midnight." "Where?" "I don't know, but the look on the other usher's face when I asked, it wasn't prayer, it was fear." Amaka felt her pulse quicken, a pattern, a lead. At a roadside Amala joint in Dugby, she'd already gotten a confession from one of Remy's actors. "It's all fake, sister. She pays us 20-30,000 to pretend. I was the withered hand last year. My hand was fine, I just kept it curled." She had testimony, she had financial records, but she needed something spectacular. Wednesday night, she would follow Rebecca Alaid. Amaka dressed in dark clothes and positioned herself near Rebecca's Alalubosa GRA mansion. At 11:47 p.m., the Mercedes emerged. She followed on foot, staying in shadows. The car stopped at a hidden access path leading to Agodi Lake. Rebecca Alaid stepped out in a simple black dress and walked toward the waterfront. Amaka hid behind bushes, phone recording. Rebecca Alaid began to chant, guttural sounds in no human language. Then it happened. Rebecca Alaid's skin shimmered. Scales emerged, actual scales, spreading across her arms and torso. Her legs began to fuse, skin stretching, bones cracking audibly, joints reformed. A tail appeared. Amaka clamped her hand over her mouth to stop from screaming. The transformation completed, Rebecca Alaid, now a 20-foot serpent creature, slithered into the water and disappeared beneath the surface. Amaka stood frozen, worldview shattered. She had expected fraud, not this, not literal transformation into a monster. She checked her phone. The video was there, grainy but unmistakable. She had her evidence. Then she heard it. A hiss. In the water, glowing eyes watched her. Amaka ran. Behind her, a splash, something large emerging. She reached the main road, flagged a taxi, threw herself in. "Drive, just drive." Looking back, she saw something in the darkness. Scales, glowing eyes, malevolence. Rebecca Alaid knew the war had begun. Back home, Amaka showed Kioma the video. "That's not... It can't be." "It's real," Amaka said. "Rebecca Alaid is not human. She's part of something from the Marine Kingdom." They backed up the video to multiple cloud accounts, emailed copies to trusted contacts. By sunrise, Amaka had a plan. Sunday, maximum attendance. She would release everything. But first, she had to survive until Sunday. Sunday morning arrived with bright sunshine. Amaka entered Mount of Everlasting Grace International one last time, phone charged, video ready. 5,000 people filled the hall. Rebecca Alaid appeared in white and gold robes, but her movements were sharper, more predatory. She knew. The sermon was about loyalty, about not questioning God's anointed. Rebecca Alaid's eyes scanned the congregation and locked onto Amaka. "There's someone here," Rebecca Alaid's voice boomed. "Harboring doubt, working against this ministry. Stand up." Amaka remained seated. "I said stand up." The voice exploded with supernatural force. Against her will, Amaka's body obeyed. 3,000 pairs of eyes turned to her. "Come forward." She walked down the aisle, legs moving without permission. Rebecca Alaid circled her at the altar. "You've been investigating, building a case against me." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Rebecca Alaid placed a hand on Amaka's forehead. Invasive coldness flooded her mind. "I can see your secrets," Rebecca Alade whispered, voice carrying throughout the hall. "You lost your virginity at 17. You cheated on an exam. You had an abortion at 22. Amaka felt tears streaming as her private shames were exposed before thousands. This is what happens when you come against God's anointed. Let this be a lesson. But something broke in Amaka. Humiliation became fury. "You want to talk about secrets," Amaka said, voice stronger than expected. "Let's talk about yours." She pulled out her phone and held it high. The video played. Rebecca Alade by water, chanting, skin shimmering, scales emerging, legs fusing into a serpent tail. People gasped, some screamed, others watched in horror. "That's edited," someone shouted, but others saw the truth. Rebecca Alade's face went blank. "Give me that phone." "No," Amaka said, backing away. "Everyone needs to see what you are." "Give me that phone." The voice shattered speakers. Light bulbs burst. The ground vibrated. People screamed, fleeing for exits. And Rebecca Alade began to change. Right there in daylight, her disguise slipped. Eyes darkening, skin shimmering, scales pushing through. Movements too fluid, too serpentine. "You want to see what I am?" Multiple voices spoke through Rebecca Alade. "Then look." She was stuck between forms. Face distorted, body half-scaled, eyes glowing, a nightmare made flesh. The congregation stampeded. Rebecca Alade lunged at Amaka, hands half-clawed. Then something remarkable happened. One voice began singing, "What a mighty God we serve." Another joined, then dozens. The remaining congregation members sang worship, not to Rebecca Alade, but to God. The sound pained Rebecca Alade. She recoiled, transformation reversing. "Stop," she screamed. "Stop singing." But they sang louder. Amaka understood. Rebecca Alade's power depended on deception, on people believing she was holy. True worship, directed at the real God, exposed her, weakened her. Rebecca Alade fell to her knees, body convulsing. The transformation reversed completely. She returned to human form, but looked diminished. Smaller, less imposing. The supernatural aura was gone. "It's over," Amaka said softly, still recording. "Everyone knows now." Rebecca Alade looked up with eyes full of hatred. "This isn't over, not even close." She stood and walked out of her own church. The video went viral within hours. Dozens of people had recorded Rebecca Alade's partial transformation from different angles. By evening, millions of views. By Monday, journalists and police surrounded her compound. Rebecca Alade had vanished, mansion empty, staff scattered, inner circle arrested. Amaka gave interviews, provided documentation. She became the face of religious skepticism, the woman who'd exposed one of Nigeria's most powerful spiritual leaders. But the victory felt hollow. She met families who'd given everything and lost it all. People who'd died refusing medical treatment, believing Rebecca Alade's miracle oil would heal them. 2 weeks later, Amaka stood in the empty Mount of Everlasting Grace International Hall with Kioma. She recorded a final message. "My name is Amaka Cole. I exposed prophetess Rebecca Alade as something transformed through occult rituals into something not fully human. This doesn't mean all spiritual leaders are fake. It means we need discernment. Supernatural doesn't equal holy. Be careful what you sacrifice for faith. Don't let this destroy your ability to believe in good." 3 months later, a letter arrived, handwritten on expensive paper. "Dear Amaka, you destroyed my ministry, my human life, but you haven't destroyed the marine kingdom. I was just one node in a vast network. There are dozens more. I'm back where I belong, in the depths. I've given up my human form permanently. The marine kingdom has operated for thousands of years. We're patient, we're strategic. We're not going away. Watch the churches. watch ministries that grow too fast, demand total devotion. We're there. Always have been. Always will be. You've made an enemy, Amaka. Be careful walking near water. Rebecca allayed. P.S. Your brother's illness. That was us too. We gave him the sickness to bring you into my orbit. We've had our eyes on you longer than you think. And we're still watching. Amaka read it 3 times. The revelation that her brother's illness had been deliberately caused chilled her. She showed Kioma, who read with growing horror. She's trying to scare you. Maybe, Amaka replied, or maybe there really are more like her. So what will you do? Amaka opened her laptop and began typing. I'm going to keep investigating. I'm going to find the others, and I'm going to expose them, one by one, until the whole network is brought into the light. That could take years. Then I'll take years, Amaka said firmly. If there are others like her, they need to be stopped. The war wasn't over. It was just beginning, and Amaka was ready. 6 months later, Mount of Everlasting Grace International was demolished. Money recovered from Rebecca Alaid's accounts was distributed to victims. Remy got 3 years for fraud. Bose fled the country. Brother Enoch was arrested for assault. But something interesting happened. Attendance dropped at mega-churches across Ibadan. People who'd blindly trusted religious leaders now asked questions, demanded transparency. It was a small change, but significant. Rebecca Alaid had intended to bind people tighter to manipulation. Instead, her exposure awakened discernment. True servants of God, those who'd always served with humility, found their congregations growing, not with thousands drawn by spectacle, but with dozens drawn by genuine compassion. Amaka never found definitive proof of the larger network Rebecca Alaid mentioned. But she kept watching, kept investigating, kept asking questions. Because in a country where faith was currency and religious leaders wielded enormous power, someone needed to ensure that power wasn't abused. Someone needed to shine light into darkness. And Amaka had proven herself capable of doing exactly that. Not everyone who performs signs and wonders is from God. True servants can be recognized by their humility, integrity, and consistency. Be wise, be discerning. Test the spirits, never fear questions, because anyone who punishes questions is hiding something. God gave you a mind. Use it. God gave you discernment. Trust it. Sometimes the most faithful thing you can do is refuse to be fooled. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment your thoughts, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to hear this message. Remember, stay vigilant, stay faithful to truth, and never stop asking questions. Until the next story, may you walk in wisdom and discernment.